So children, after studying these three kind of properties like roughness, luster and hardness, let's see the next one. What is the next property? Fourth property of any materials which we use to sort out the materials into different groups. So fourth is transparency. Transparency. Transparency, when we talk about this transparency, it is a characteristics of any material in which total means we can say full light if passed through any of the object, then we can say that object is transparent. Understand? Just like a plain glass, जो कांच होता है plain. I am not talking about your mirror. I am talking about the plain glass which we use in our windows generally. Okay, but some people are not using that plain glass. They are using frosted glasses. So we are talking about the plain glass which we use in our building material, or that we can say in window panes. That glass is a transparent material. Okay, and pure water is also transparent. We can easily see anything. If we keep pure water in a glass or any of the utensil, then if we put anything, suppose you drop a coin in that one, you can easily observe through the water that coin is of 5 rupees or 2 rupees or 10 rupees. Okay, so that kind of material through which we can see clearly, that kind of material is called transparent material. So you can take example of glass, you can take example of pure water. Okay, they are transparent. So children, when we study about the transparency, we also study about other two materials also. So under this we will study transparent material. Transparent material, which I have just now I explained you that what are the transparent. Transparent. And second is translucent. Translucent. And third is opaque. Understand? So these three are the category of materials on the basis of, means we can say these three are the different properties of different materials. On the basis of that we can also sort out the materials into different groups. Suppose any material, if anybody told you separate out on the basis of transparency, and they keep all the three kind of material, then we should know that what is transparent, what is translucent and what is opaque, then only we can recognize. Okay, so transparent, I told you that through which we can see clearly, or more correctly its definition is if through any object full light pass through it, that is called transparent material. So here you can take example of glass or pure water. Okay, glass means kanch. Okay, and translucent material is that kind of material through which only some part of light can pass through it. Not, we can't see clearly, we can see something through that material, but we can't see clearly. So that kind of material are called translucent. Best example I am giving you as a butter paper. Have you seen butter paper? Butter paper is the best example of translucent materials. Butter paper means you must have used some time to trace something, that is a butter paper. And if we see through the butter paper, you can see that we can't see clearly. Or if you don't have butter paper, then also we can make it by applying oil on the plain white paper, thin white paper. If you apply oil on that, and then you can see through that paper, it becomes now translucent. Something that blurred things we can see through that, but we can't see clearly that what object is placed behind that butter paper. Or second example of translucent object I can give you, colored plastic bottles. Like any colored plastic bottles, for water bottle also we sometimes use plastic bottles, but it should be colored. Colored plastic bottles, when we keep anywhere, and behind that if you keep your hand, you can see that that is our hand, but not clearly. It is not clearly visible, just like visible through the glass. Okay, means here light can be passed through this material, but partially, or partially means halfly light only can pass through the translucent material, not full light can pass through it. And these two I think you understood. And opaque material is that material which completely block the light. It cannot pass any light to pass, means it cannot allow any light to pass through it. And we can't see anything which is behind the opaque object. Just like this board. If I keep my hand behind the board, you can't see anything. Or in the same way, if I take example of any wooden that door or metallic door, behind the door what is there we can't see. And this wall is also opaque material. What is behind the wall, that also we can't see. So these all the materials are called opaque materials. They cannot allow any light to pass through them. That's why they are opaque materials, and we can say we can't see through them. Understand? And they block the light. So on the basis of these three categories also we can classify the materials into different groups, or we can say we sort out the materials into different groups. Means that is if butter paper is kept there, if frosted glass is kept there. Frosted glass is also a kind of translucent material. Through that people are generally use frosted glass in your washrooms, so that anything cannot be visible through that frosted glass. But if light is on, then something is visible, that somebody is there inside, but you can't see clearly. Understand? So butter paper or frosted glass, simple plain glass, water, or piece of wood, piece of metal, if these materials are kept at some place and anybody tell you that to sort out all these material into these three groups, then you can easily separate out by studying these properties. Understand? So why we are studying this chapter? So that we can understand that what are the different meanings of these categories, or what are the different properties of materials. On the basis we can separate out the things, sort out the things. Understand? So children, after this is our fourth property. So after this fourth property, our first property of any material is physical state, or we can say state also, or you can in your book it is given physical state. Physical state means in three states: solid, liquid and gas. So we can easily separate out any material into these three categories. Solids, what are the solids? You know that if any material is hard or they can't change their shape easily, that is called solid. So here I am giving you a common example, which is water. So solid form of water is ice. Okay, and liquid, we are taking example of water. So here water is a liquid form. Water also exists in three states: solid form ice, and liquid form water, and gaseous form is vapors, or we can say steam. Okay, after boiling or when that heat falls on water, then water change from liquid state to that gaseous state in the form of water vapors. So in this way, anything when keep it somewhere, then we can easily identify that if anything is solid or liquid or gas, on the basis of this characteristic feature, we can easily separate out these three things. And you know that every state is interchangeable. Means if water vapor are there, we can collect water vapor in some container, and when they cool down, they again change into water. And this water, if we keep in refrigerator, it again change from water state to means liquid state to solid state. So these all the states are interchangeable. But how they interchange? With the help of temperature. If we increase the temperature of ice, then ice melt into water. And if again we more increase the temperature and water start boiling, then water change from liquid state to gaseous state. After boiling, water vapors can be formed. So these all the states are interchangeable. One state can be changed into other state by the change of water. Understand? So this is all about the physical state of any material. And after this physical state, next our sixth property is solubility. Solubility. You know children, some of the materials are easily soluble in water. Soluble means घुल जाना. Okay? Some of the material are easily soluble in water. वो बहुत easily water में घुल जाते हैं. Just like salt or sugar, that easily they are soluble in water. So we can say they are showing solubility in water. Okay? But some of the material, they are not soluble in water, just like sand. Okay? And we can say sawdust. Sawdust means लकड़ी का जो बूरा होता है, that. Sawdust, it is totally not soluble in water. Or you can take example of chalk powder also. If we make a powder of chalk, and if we try to dissolve in water, full chalk powder will not dissolve in water. Some of the material particles, they settle down at the bottom, and some of the particles which are very light in weight, they start floating on the surface of water. So we can say that on the basis of solubility, we can sort out the materials into different groups. Means one side you can take, these are the soluble materials which are soluble in water, and these are the non-soluble material or insoluble. correct word is insoluble. So insoluble materials we can sort out separately. Understand? So on the this is also one of the main characteristic or property of materials by which we can separate out materials into different groups. Okay children? So after solubility, our seventh property is, let's see what is given in your book. Our next property is flotation, or here in your book it is written as a density. Density, or in other ways we can say that on the basis of flotation also, what material float on water and what material sink in water, on the basis of that also we can sort out the material into different groups. So this is also one of the property. So children, what is density? First you should know that density means mass per unit volume. Means एक छोटे से, you know that this is a chalk holder. So this chalk holder, ये इतना मटेरियल है, इसने अपने में कितना मास होल्ड किया हुआ है, मीन्स इतने वॉल्यूम में कितना मास इसके अंदर है. मास मीन्स कंटेंट. अंडरस्टैंड? मास, यू डोंट कंसीडर हिंदी वर्ड मास. ओके, दिस इज अ MASS, mass. Mass means content of any material which is present in that much volume of thing, that is called its density. You see that a single needle, जो सुई होती है कपड़े सिलने वाली, a needle is a very small thing but it has much density as compared to a big wooden block, because big wooden block is a bigger in size but it has less density. Understand? That's why if we put both the things in water, then what will happen? The iron, that needle, it easily sink at the bottom of the water, but wooden block easily float on the surface of water. In the same way, you can take example of many things. Means all the metals have high density. They are more denser than other materials as compared to wood. Wood is a best example. If you compare that metals, then metal we can compare with wooden material. You know that a big boat, when you sit in boat, you can see that boat is made up of wooden material, and boat is so much big, but then also it floats on the surface of water. It will not sink in the water. Why? Because of its less density. It is not so much denser. But a simple nail of iron or a small piece of any metal, when we put in water, it easily fall and it easily sink in the at the bottom of the water. If you throw any coin in water body, you can't see where coin goes. So it immediately settle at the bottom of the water body. Understand? So this is called density, and on the basis of this important property of any material, we can sort out the different materials into groups. Means we can say that those material which have higher density, we keep them in a separate column, and those material which have lower density, we easily keep them in separate class. Okay. So this is also one of the main important property of materials. So children, after density, means on the basis of this we can see that which material can float on the surface of water or which can sink. Sink means डूब जाना. Which can be sink at the bottom of water. So these are the 7 properties we have studied. On the basis of these, we can easily separate out materials into different groups. And now our 8th next property of materials is conduction, or we can say conductor of heat and electricity also. Here this property we can study combinedly in a combined form, because both are the same things, conductor of heat and electricity. Children, have you seen the electric wire? And when you cut that wire, don't cut it the wire of your house, that electric wire, but if any separate wire is there present at your home, you can see that when we cut our end of wire, you can see that inside the wire, that one wire is made up of metallic material, means that metal is used to make a wire, and on that they wrap a coating of plastic or some kind of non-conductor material. Means we can say that all the metals are good conductor of heat and electricity. That's why we always use for heat, we use all the metals to make utensils, to cook our food. Have you seen any time we used to cook food in a plastic container, or in a we can say on our gas stove, or we used to take that wooden any kind of material to cook our food? No, because those materials which do not conduct heat, conduct means any material, if it allow heat or electricity to pass through them, then only they can say those materials are good conductors of heat and electricity. Okay, means अगर कोई भी मटेरियल अपने में से हीट को पास होने दे या इलेक्ट्रिसिटी को पास होने दे, उस मटेरियल को हम क्या बोलते हैं? इट इज अ गुड कंडक्टर ऑफ हीट एंड इलेक्ट्रिसिटी. So in the same way, when we study about the conductors, that time we will study about the insulators also. Insulators. You know that I was giving you example of an electric wire. In electric wire, we can study both the things. Insulators are those materials which do not allow electric current or heat to pass through them. So that's why we use the plastic coating around these kind of materials. Means conductors are the materials through which electricity and heat easily pass through them. That's why we use metal wires. And when we by chance touch the metal wire, we can easily get electric shock. So to prevent that electric shock, always we cover the metal wire with the insulated the metallic wire with plastic coating. Understand? I can show you one wire I have kept here. I am also having one wire. You can see easily that inside that socket also metal is present, and this on that metallic wire, that plastic coating is there. Okay, in the same way you can see any wire at your home. Inside that, when you see inside always metal is present, because metal only can allow electricity to pass through it. But if we touch any electric wire through which electric current is passing, then we can get electric shock. So to prevent the electric shock, they use the we can say insulated material. Insulated means plastic or that rubber material they use to cover that metallic wire so that we may not get shock. So these materials, insulated materials, plastic or rubber, or we can say wood also, these all are called insulators. Okay, if conductors are important for us as well as insulators are also important for us, they are also equally important for us. Understand, children? So when we talk about the conduction of heat, at the same time we can study about the conduction of electricity also. So here we have studied about the conductors and insulators. You can take example of your cooking utensils as that pan on which we are making roti, or your mother must be cooking chapatis, and that cooking pan has handle of wood material or plastic handle. Some pans are coming in the market with the wooden handle, or some are having that plastic handles. Why we use plastic handles or wooden handle with the those utensils? Because of this insulation property, so that that heat will not be transferred through that pan to us. We will not feel hot, and when we want to hold that pan, we can easily hold them, because heat will not pass from the pan to wooden material, because wooden materials are insulated materials, or they are insulators, and plastic also insulators, rubber also insulators, and you know that all the electric tools which electricians generally use, that pliers, screwdriver, or so many tools they are using, they are made up of they are their handles are always covered with the plastic coating. Okay, so you can see that why they cover those metallic tools with the covering of plastic, because plastic act as a insulator, and insulator will not allow current to pass through them, so they can easily work on the wires through which electricity is going on. Understand? So these are the some examples which I have given to you related the conductivity or insulators. Understand? So on the basis of conductors or insulators, we can separate out the materials into different groups. So these are also the main important properties of our materials. Okay. So after this, children, last topic which is given in your book, that is related to magnetic attraction. That is actually in your book 8th property is given conduction of heat, conductor of heat, and 9th it is given conductor of electricity. So I have explained you combinedly, but it is separately given in your book, and total 10 properties they have given. So 8 and 9 I have already explained you, conduction of heat and conduction of electricity. So our 10th last property of material is magnetic separation. Magnetic separation. Okay, magnetic separation means with the help of magnet we can separate out main 3 things. Magnet always attract the 3 materials. One material is made up of, if it is made up of iron material, iron, cobalt and nickel. Okay, these are the three categories of material which are called magnetic materials. If any means so many metals are kept at one place and anybody tell you that you separate out these metals on the basis of magnetic separation, then what you will do? You will separate out these three metals because these are magnetic materials. Okay, and rest of the metals which are not attracted by the magnet, that all the metals we can separate out, just like aluminium. If we touch magnet to aluminium, it will not be attracted. Gold, silver, copper or lead, so many things are there, so many kind of other metals are also there which are not attracted by the magnet. So it is not means those metals are not showing magnetic property, so we can't separate out, means we can say we can't classify those metals into the magnetic materials. So on the basis of magnetic separation, or we can say magnetic property, we can also sort out the materials into different groups. Understand? And if you want to separate out these materials from your household things, suppose some iron nails, if fall in your rice or your pulses, or suppose in your wheat flour, that गेहूं के आटे में अगर कुछ आपके लोहे के कील गिर जाए तो then how you can separate out? It is very tedious job. So with the help of magnet we can easily separate out. Okay, so this is called magnetic separation. When we move any magnet in our wheat flour, then easily that all the iron nails get attracted to the magnet and they stick to the magnet and we can easily separate out. So this is called magnetic separation. So on the basis of this property, magnetic separation, we can also classify or sort out the materials into different groups. Okay students, so this is all about this chapter. So after this we will start new chapter in the next class. Okay, so children, you try to fill the exercises your own, means whatever it is given in the form of choose the correct answers or fill in the blanks. We will also provide you, but not now. Now it is your homework that you should do this your own. Try to read the chapter and try to fill these all the fill in the blanks your own, or true or false or whatever it is given. You try to solve these your own, and afterward when we revise all the chapters before exam, that time we will provide you all the fill in the blanks. Okay children, so I'll give you notes of this chapter also, I'll send you. So read it properly and watch all the videos thoroughly so that you can understand each topic properly. This chapter is a very common chapter and it is very simple. Okay, so you can easily understand by reading it. So if you have any query, you can ask me on my personal number. Okay children, so Jai Gurudev.